Hello guys. Hello. I hope I'm audible on your end. So in continuation with chapter 3, I think this is the last topic, and then after this topic is another module for you guys to read about, which is about chemical safety. And then muna na ang whole coverage for our finals. Chapter 3 and then katong chapter 4, which is chemical safety. Very easy read ra tong module. Actually, very basic lesson to siya nga topic, all about workplace safety, unsa nga mga need remember and stuff. I'll try to record a video on that if napay time, but let's continue with nuclear energy. So basically, this talks about nuclear chemistry. So much of our understanding sa tanang atomic structure sa atong periodic table, we have how many elements? These came from the studies of radioactive nga elements, no? Nakahibaw ta how an atomic structure looks like. We know what's a proton, what's a neutron, what's an electron, based from studying the radioactive elements in our periodic table. Radioactivity basically is the process by which atoms will spontaneously emit high energy particles or rays gikan sa ilang nucleus. And if you have the time to search online on a radioactive cloud chamber. So here's an example of that. Naakay murag tank, ng fish tank. And then you have a uranium ore. And uranium is a very radioactive element. Unya, imo siya ibutang og dry ice and alcohol. What happens is that you will be seeing the emission of neutrons gikan sa imong uranium nga atom, uranium nga element. So nagsige sila og emit og katong mga neutrons nga moagi sa katong na-cool down natong isopropyl alcohol, i-push man niya ang particles adto, so makita nato ang na-emit nga mga neutrons. So it's very amazing how something we think we can't observe or invisible in real life, if ato ibuta siya sa right conditions, we can see it nga naa radioactivity nga nahitabo. But dili ra ni siya sa uranium. It's just that uranium has a very high capacity to emit their high energy particles. If you put a banana here, mo emit gyapon siya, but dili as grabe sa imong uranium. So let's talk about the people who first observe katong mga radioactive nga mga scenes or scenarios, no? So we have Antoine Henry Becquerel. He first observed radioactivity in 1896. Well, when he saw uranium minerals that emit penetrating radiation even when iya nag-wrap sa paper, no, o gikip sa dark. So mas kingit-ngit na, mas kiyan atong gitabunan og papel, mo emit gihapon ang imong uranium minerals. Makalagbas magyapon ang imong mga particles sa uranium sa papel. Unless though mo siya butang og kanang chamber like made up of lead or made up of some concrete and lead, mas dili na maglisod na og penetrate ang imong uranium mga radiation ana. But for paper makalagbas gyapon siya. Another person that's very important in radioactivity, we have Marie Sklodowska-Curie. She coined actually the term radioactivity and observed that it is unaffected with pressure, temperature, and physical and chemical factors. So it is altogether a new property of any material. So Marie Sklodowska-Curie is a very amazing woman. No, she's actually the only person who has won 2 Nobel Prizes, one in physics and one in chemistry, and all because of radioactivity. And she actually discovered radium and as well as polonium. Polonium was named after her homeland, which is from Poland, and radium because of radiation. And then, kato sa time sa history before, I really like learning about the history of kaning nuclear energy because kato tayo wala sila kaibaw nga what are radioactive things, no? So people before used to work in factories that really use radium because it glows in the dark. niglow siya obviously because nag-emit na siya radiation, but people didn't know that nga delikado din siya sa health. So there were workers, female workers nga himo sila og kanang part sa clock ba, kanang kamot sa clock, and that was dipped in radium. And then wala ba proper nga workplace safety sa una, so at times they don't use gloves, and then sometimes ilang tilapan for some reason. So after a couple of years na ang mga workers ato were suffering from cancer sa mouth, cancer sa tongue, nila po cancer sa hands, sa skin nila cancer due to the radiation of using radium. And then that actually led to a very grabbing a backlash to Marie Sklodowska-Curie because lagi siya may naka-discover, pero lagi yun sa lagi na nga the science before was dili man siya para sa science nato karon. So pero at least right now murag na bawi na sad ang iyang name because we know about it na. Before grabe murag na conjure siya na witch hunt kay ano nag-discover pa nimo. Basta there's a really good movie about her, and I think you should watch if you have the time or if you're interested in what I'm talking about. It's a very feminist movie, so I hope nga mga girls mo tan-aw mo to. So women in STEM. Okay, next. Ernest Rutherford and Frederick Soddy, these were also important people. They proposed that one element can change into another element as a result of radioactive emission. So for example, you have here radium, which is element number 88 and has a mass number of 226. When radiation happens, it will release alpha particle 42. And then, instead na radium na siya, it will change into another element, which is radon. So this is element number 86 and has a mass number of 222. So basically, using radioactivity, certain elements can change to another element based on radioactive emission, which is really weird because when we compare chemical reactions versus nuclear reactions, sa chemical reactions, basically, ang substance ra nato ang mo change. It can change its form, it can change its molecular structure, but we've never heard of atoms ever changing their identity for chemical reactions, no? Basically, what we do ato pag i-balance dapat, and we always just change the number of moles in our atoms or in our elements sa chemical reactions. Also, sa chemical reactions nato, electrons are the ones that are involved in the reaction. So, how many electrons? I think we discussed this sa redox before, that we always look at the electrons that changed, no? Or because pila ka electrons involved in the reaction tells us kung oxidation ba na siya, reduction ba na siya. So, mo na sa chemical reactions. Also, pod sa chemical reactions, they have relatively small changes in energy and no measurable changes in mass because we always do law of conservation of energy and mass when we have chemical reactions. And the rates of reactions are very affected by temperature, pressure, concentration, and other factors. So, for example, if you increase the temperature of your chemical reaction, will this push the reaction forwards or will this push the reaction backwards? So, spontaneously mahitabo ba na atong reaction or dili? So, those are for chemical reactions. Nuclear reactions, on the other hand, we have atoms converted into another element. So, basically, katong sa example ganiha, your radium will turn into radon after emitting an alpha particle. Your protons, neutrons, and other particles, they are also involved, dili ra si electrons. And there are very large changes in energy and measurable changes in mass. So that's the reason why it is a very good substitute for, or it's a very good clean energy source. Also, ang nuclear reactions, they are not affected by temperature and other physical and chemical factors. Lahi ra kayo sa atong chemical reactions because once again, these are very intrinsic sa atong mga elements, no? Kung sa ang radioactivity nila to. Bahala pag ato ka sa kabukid magkandak, ato ka sa bugnaw or sa init magkandak, your nuclear reactions will still proceed because it only depends on the intensity or the amount of emission in terms of particles na ilang emit or ilang absorb. So mura na ang nuclear reactions. Now, unsa man ay mga important nga particles or let's say mga symbols, nuclear symbols in nuclear reactions. I think di ko sure ha if na-cover ni Sir Dan, but obviously we have here protons, 1 pp. So always remember the superscript is your mass number, your subscript is your atomic number. So 1 pp, that is just equivalent to your hydrogen. Your neutron, wala siya dili siya equivalent of any kanang di siya equivalent of any element. It's just the mass. No, it's just the mass of your element. So it's equivalent to 1. You have your electron, so that's minus 1 because meaning ana nga nakuhaan ang imong number of protons. So that's minus 1 as your electrons. And then wala siya mass because negligible ang mass sa imong electrons. And this is also denoted as beta. This is also a beta particle. And you have your positron, which is just a positive electron, and that is a positive beta. Not a positive electron, ma'am. In these terms, na kay gi-add sumurag positive kay bali nga kuan particle. Then this is also your alpha particles. This is helium. So this is heavier than the others, no, because it has a mass of 4 and it has a proton number of 2. Okay. Now we know that. Always remember also the AZX symbols. Your X symbolizes your element or your particle. It can either be your chlorine or any other elements pwede table, pwede helium, pwede hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, etc. Your A is the mass or the total number of nucleons. So nucleons, that is just your protons plus your neutrons. Okay? Kasi makalimot ay hala. Haggard akong kuan. P plus N. Okay, so maragoy lami akong agi. Anyways, nucleons is just your protons and your neutrons because, once again, these are the particles that are concentrated in the center of your atom. Your electrons sa palibutan na sa imong atom. So, it doesn't really say a lot about the mass of your atom. So, mass of your atom is governed or are caused by your protons and your neutrons. And then your Z is the charge of your particles. So, also that could be your atomic number, Z. So, the number of neutrons in a nucleus basically is just the mass minus the atomic number. So, if you just subtract your A to Z, you will get the number of neutrons inside your atom. Now, isotopes, for example, are 2 or more types of atoms that have the same atomic number. So, you have here helium. Actually, gani hapon sa example, we have chlorine 35 and chlorine 37. Those are isotopes. So, meaning ana nila, same sila og atomic number, same sila og Z. However, they just differ in the number of their neutrons, no? Or ilang mass. Mas bugat ang kaning tritium, which is hydrogen still but with 2 extra neutrons sa iyang sud niya. So we have deuterium and we also have protium. So this is ang sa element, this is 97% abundant, so very abundant element. And then these two are caused by factors that mahitabo nga malagay tanan element will undergo radioactivity or radiation. So, mo-emit yun sila particles. And then, once they do that, they will turn into their isotopes. And the isotopes that are common for hydrogen are deuterium and tritium. So, deuterium has an extra neutron that makes it so nga duha ang mass ni dyan diri sa ibabaw. The tritium is too low because you have a proton and then you have 2 more neutrons. Tritium is very heavy. Deuterium is also heavy. There's this concept of heavy water. So, basically, kung kanang mo drink kag water nga kuan instead of H2O, D2O na siya. D2O. Okay, instead of hydrogen ang i-bond Same oxygen, you have deuterium. And that is what they call as dirty water. Mura ko makagituok and nag-try ni mong drink ani. Wala nga mga kuani sa mga na ay weird nga mga kuan diha. Kinks ba? Okay. So once again, atoms just differ by the number of their protons. For example, your carbon and your oxygen, they are very different elements because they differ a lot in their number of protons. So basically, your protons is your ID number, or sa periodic table pa, your atomic number is your proton number as well as your ID number. So kung lahi na gani kag protons, meaning jud ana, that is lahi na, different na nga atoms. Your ions differ by the number of electrons. So for example, you have here your carbon, you also have C4+, and you have C4-. So meaning ana, you have 6 electrons because 6 imong protons. So basically, in a neutral nga atom, the number of protons is always equal to the number of your electrons. Now, sa kanina example, you still have 6 protons because that is still carbon. And for this one, you still have 6 protons because that is still carbon. The changes ra happen because of the charge nga present here. Since it says nga 4+, so meaning ana na kuhaan og upat ka electron ang imong carbon, making it have only 2 electrons. So, mas positive siya kay meaning mas nakuhaan siya og electron. So, instead of 10e, mas naglibog man na ha, 2e na siya. So, basically, ni positive kay nakuhaan og electron, and electron is negative. So, 4+. So, meaning nakuhaan siya og upat ka electrons, making it have only 2 electrons. And then, si 4-, meaning ana, nadugangan siya og upat ka electrons, mo na nga na 10 electrons na siya. So, ana kalibog ang chem. But once you get the point of stuff, marag magets ra po ninyong ang logic nga no, medyo bali-bali siya gamay, no? So, that's ions. So, once again, positive ions, these are cations, and negative ions, these are anions. And then, isotopes, they differ by the number of neutrons. So, we have C12 and C14. And ang gimin ra ni guys, this is the mass number of your element, okay? Dash mass number. So, for example, carbon, that is still 6. No, 6 protons gihapon siya. 6 protons siya. Ani? Then 6 protons siya. Same raman nga element, same atom. 6 electrons na siya, kaya wala may charge nga na-mention here. So, 6 electrons na siya. However, in the number of neutrons, you have 12 minus 6. So, that is 6. 6 nga neutrons. But for carbon 14, 14 is the mass number man. 14 minus 6, you have 8 neutrons. So, lahi na siya. So, mo na nga, these are what we call as isotopes. Now, radioactive decay, this happens because unstable atomic nucleus will lose energy by radiation. So, stability is stability. Meaning ana, dili mo decay spontaneously emitting any kind of radioactivity. So, that's hard to see for mga large nga mga elements, no? Because usually, mo lose yung energy ang imong nucleus, and this happens because of radiation. And you can see here that different types of radiation, na po sila ay different nga mga absorption nga makaya niya. For alpha particles, because they are very big, dili na siya kalagbas sa papel, no? But for beta particles, these are more dangerous types of particles. Pwede pa siya mo lagbas og imong paper, mulagbas kutob sa skin, and kutob sa metal. And I think ang metal diri could be either lead or any types of metal. Your neutrons, kalagbas pa sad siya, but inikabot sa water, maglisod na siya o lagbas. Ano ka, ma'am? So, you can search on that. What pinaka-dangerous, I think, for me, is ang gamma. Gamma particle is very small, so it can emit, no, radiation until makabot siya sa lead na walls. And when you look at mga nuclear power plants, usually dapit ana nila, they always have this one kaning lead enforced concrete para sa safety sa absorption sa radiation. And also, if na mahitabo nga nuclear war, no, ang very important thing nga buhaton, especially kasi sigil ba gira ron. What if no, under si Trump, kay gira mag-nuclear, gira na gyud siya. So what to do? Make sure nga moadto mo sa center sa inyong balay, you stack a lot of things between you and the house and everyone else. So ikuan ninyo maghimog fort, no, kanang fort kuan ba nga tabon tanan na daghang layers para nga dili makalagbas ang radiation gikan sa nibuto nga nuclear bombs or unsa pa na. So make sure nga you always have a lot of layers between you and the environment to ensure your survival. So dili ka mo gawas, dili ka mo marites sa gawas kay unsa raman, you wait inside your fort, magdaka pagkaon dito, you wait there for maybe 2 weeks to 1 month, and then ato na ka mo gawas. Ato ni mo make sure kung unsa nang surrounding. Although surrounding will still have obviously radiation, but it's not dili na gyud pareha sa katong pag-start nga grabe, no? So, ana lang mo survive og radioactive apocalypse. Apocalypse someday. So, next, we have the types. We have alpha, which is just a helium nucleus. So, this is just helium. We have beta, that's an electron. We have positron. We have gamma. So, gamma is 0, and gamma happens to almost everything, no? I-release po na siya sa tanan. May 0 naman na siya. And then to start, for nuclear reactions, I think this is covered already by Sir Dan. But basically, you have a parent nuclide, and then you have a daughter nuclide, and then the alpha particle emitted. And always ensure that your numbers must balance. My trick, for example, ko pansiron, kung sa ba, you have your parent nuclide. So, I always make sure, usually ang questions ana is, what is the daughter nuclide man, or either kaning alpha particle, unsa man nga particle ang na-emit, if kani ang gihatag or if kani ang gihatag. So, if kani ang gihatag, unsa nga particle, you just minus, no, sa diri sa number of protons first, and then diri sa ibabaw. Start sa ka sa ubos, kaning diri, para makahibaw ka kung sa ang identity. And then, if kani ang papangitaon, o kani ang available, then kani ang papangitaon, same process, you start diri sa ubos, and then you go back. And make sure nga mo match kung sa gani imong proton number, that is also your element na ibutang. So, that's just how you balance nuclear reactions. Pretty easy. You also have beta emission. So, beta emission, electrons, no? And positron if positron emission. And then, we also have electron capture. Now, for electron capture, instead of being at or being after the arrow, naka sa reactant nga side, parehaning duha ganina, sa electron capture, imo man siya gi-capture, so it's part of the reactants na side, no, before the arrow. Kung emissions gani, nadyo siya diri dapit sa imo products na side. Then gamma, this usually follows katong tanan type sa decay. And then transmutation, this happens when one element becomes another. So basically, katong ganihan ay tabo, another element becomes another. From starting ni mo nga nuclide, na change na siya another nuclide. So transmutation has occurred. So these are the summaries sa katong mga kuan na to, no? Mga particles. So, yes, more na sila, hinumdumir na siya. And, yeah, usually alpha emissions for 2 na siya, or katong A, E. And then, yeah, these are just other examples. You look here, 8 plus 1 plus 7. So, 8 ra gyapon diri nga side, 8 diri, 14, 14. So, yeah, balance mo na dyan na, i-balance dyan na siya nimo. Okay. Then, here's another example of how to balance nuclear reactions. You always conserve uh, your positive and your neutrons, positive no? Your protons and your neutrons. So example kani, ceridian and then helium and then polonium. Now you have fission reactions as well as fusion reactions. Wait a minute lang guys ha. Okay, so continuing from where we left off. Wala na nagkuan. Is this continuing? Basically, for this one, you just need to balance hydrogen. Okay. Padayon na ba ni? Wala naman siya ni mo. And then to balance that, you put here, unsa man natin butang dere. Of course, you need something else dere to equal to negative 1 man eh. So dapat we need 1 man here. So we need, saan ito ang pencil? Okay, this one. H E to be 2 because that's 2, and then 3 that is ibabaw. Okay, and then for this one, what particle is emitted? Obviously that is an alpha particle tsaka ko alpha particle. That's an alpha particle. A na guys ha. And that's 2 and 4, which equals to this one. You add this and then i-add po na. Add po na. Equivalent na siya to this one. And then ang usa ka equivalent ani. This was equivalent siya no. Then for this one, cereal. Unsa man atong sorry. We just need to make it, that's probably an electron, no? Or a beta particle. Because nigamay man siya, so negative 1, and that is 0 dire. Now, please answer this quiz in a 1/2 crosswise. So this is pretty easy, naman sad. And then there are several units in nuclear chemistry. Obviously, we have nuclear chem, we have radioactivity units, and the first, or the SI unit, or the pinaka SI unit basically is the standard unit used is becquerels, which means these integrations or decay per seconds. And then becquerel of gikan siya ni Henry Becquerel. And then we also have Curie. So disintegrates or decays na siya guys ha. Either way. Kang Curie unit that represents the activity of 1 gram of radium. So this is using radium, and this is 3.7 times 10 decays per second, or 10 ka becquerels, 3.7 ka becquerels siya, because this is very large, no? This is a very large unit. So basically, some chemistry applications, they use microcuries for that. And then we also have DPMs, but wala na mention dire DPM. So ako DPM, and this is used in low level counting, which is just equivalent to 1/60 becquerels. 1 DPM is equivalent to 1/60 BQ. Okay, BQ. And then we have gray, and this is for the absorbed dose, no? So this really talks about the radioactivity that is absorbed in the living tissue. So gamit ni siya kayo sa medical sense because familiar mo, we have x-rays, we also have um radioactive na mga medicines that is used to treat cancer. Tumors mo lagi na sila, so para non-invasive, usay tirahan na sila og ganang radioactive na mga elements. So if you're interested put ana na field, basin ka mo shift, that pays a lot. So you can be a medical physicist, no? And it's a very good role. It really talks about more about the proper nga absorption nga ihatag nimo sa usa ka human being moigo sa katong ilang tumor and dili ma-affected ang ubang parts silang body. So mara ka og kanang anesthesiologist, but more siya on radioactivity. Then other units, we have rad. So rad is also about absorbed dose. So this is a more traditional nga unit, no? And this is defined as 0.01 joules per kilogram of tissue. And we have sieverts, and this is sievert, the SI unit for equivalent dose that takes account the type of radiation and also yung biological effect. And we have rem, or Roentgen equivalent man. This is the traditional the unit for equivalent dose. So these are all units used in kanang medicine, kani sila. At least na may knowledge nila gamay. We're not gonna use a lot of this in calculations. Now, once again, all of the energy we produce, they really come from basic chemical and physical processes. Fission, and we also have fusion. These are two physical processes that produce the massive amounts of energy gikan sa atong atoms. And fission means that it is a splitting of a nucleus into two or more smaller nuclei. An example of this is that for every 1 gram of uranium, it will generate enough energy or the same amount of energy as 3 tons of coal. So this is an example of really what happens inside a nuclear plant. You have your uranium, which will split, and katong ilang splitting will cause domino effect, no, to other molecules, which will cause a chain reaction, which is a very self-propagating reaction because once maigo na ni siya, maigo na po ni siya sa usa, then maigo na po ni siya sa usa, naigo-igo na po niya sa usa. So magsigi siya og igog usa, and then magsigi og ka kick ang imong nutrients when produce siya og a lot of energy. And in nuclear power plants, kung ganahan ka mo stop sa usa ka imong gihimo nga process, like imo siya i-control ano hitabo nga fission, magbutang ka og gitawag nila so to ay mga murag imo siya isuksok sa imong basta naara pa yung video later. That's like murag siya ingana isod maguna siya nimo sa kanang murag hole. Sorry ha. Tsaka kay ko drawing. Basta kay and then to stop the kaning chain reaction from occurring, murag imo ni butang ni this is boron. This is a boron chemical and a boron nga metal, and this will help stop the chain reaction from propagating. And obviously, you really need a critical mass to sustain this chain reaction because this chain reaction is the reason why we can generate electricity using nuclear power plants. So that's fission. Now, the difference between fusion, mas better jud na source of o mas dako nga energy ang ma-release sa atong fission reactions compared sa atong fusion reactions. And typically, atong hibuan jud is uranium-235 is a very limited siya na element compared sa uban. So, dili jud ta kaingon na kuan siya kanang as green as we would like it to be. And there is also a very large danger of meltdown happening in nuclear power plants, and this will generate a lot of toxic waste as well as thermal pollution. So you'll see right now kung this is actually the state sa atong nuclear energy. No, we use the power of fission in our nuclear power plants. You'll see later how it's not real. It's a good idea, but there's a lot of kani around it, or kani happening uranium nga limited. So a lot of backlash nga murag mo na di kayo supportive pod ang ubang people about nuclear energy. However, if once we try or once we use fusion when we try to fuel our power plants, obviously, very abundant ang fuel that we use for fusion is hydrogen and helium, and there's no danger of a meltdown as well as no toxic waste. However, this is not yet sustainable because it really needs a lot of energy in order to fuse atoms together, and typically fusion really happens kanang sa bomb, kanang hydrogen bomb, so we do fusion on that, and ang nahitabo sa stars, we are using fusion for that. So those are the two physical processes around atom splitting. We have fission and we have fusion. Fission is when we pagawas, and then fusion is imong fuse together. So U is unite, ana na lang nag-unite kag duha ka atoms. Now, radioactive dating, this is the solving na part na no sa atong nuclear chem. Basically, during natural nga radioactive decay, dili tanan atoms of an element are instantaneously changed to atoms to another element. So that decay process, it takes a lot of time, and there is value in being able to express katuna rate of are at which that process occurs. So a very useful concept is the half-life, which is the time required para sa half of the starting material to change or decay. So half-lives can be calculated from measurements on the change in the mass no, of a nuclide and the time it takes para mahitabo to. And the only thing we know is that in the time of that substance half-life, half the original nuclei will already disintegrate. Although chemical changes can be sped up or slowed down by a lot of factors like temperature, concentration, etc., kani nga factors wala siya effect sa half-life sa atong elements. Okay? So each radioactive isotope will have its own unique na half-life. For example, carbon-14 has a half-life of up to 40,000 years, and that is unique for carbon-14. And then for uranium, na po siya iya, and then for potassium, na po siya iya, and those could be over 300,000. So for radioisotope, every time nga a decay event happens, it is counted or detected with a Geiger counter or other types of measuring device, and a specific isotope will have might murag ingani 30,000 counts per minute. No, ang gimin ana nila kay CPM na si counts per minute, and the other count could be depende sa kuan. In 1 hour after talian ng 30,000, it could be 15,000. So basically half the original amount. So the half-life of the isotope kibali is 1 hour. So some isotopes have long half-lives, some have kaning ingani katas-a. So sa iodine, actually I want to include the iodine 131, which is used sa thyroid. It has a half-life of mga days ra 8.02 days. So this is a very good way para muskan sa kanang thyroid, no. That the half-life calculations, this is the time required for 1/2 of the radioactive nuclei to decay. It is possible to calculate the amount of radioactive element that will be left if we know kung pila ang half-life. So here we have an example. We know that polonium-214 has a half-life of 0.001 per seconds. So pila man kuno sa 10 grams nga sample will be left after 0.003 seconds. So to calculate the number of half-life, we just put the number here And we know that the half-life is 0.001 per second. So, cancel ang seconds, and you get the number of half-life. So, basically, meaning, ana, after 0 half-life, so wala pa'y, unsay katunga sa kuan. Wala pa'y half-life, basically. 10 grams pa. After some time, or after 1 half-life, 5 grams na ang nabilin. After 2 half-lives, 2.5 grams na ang nabilin. And then after 3 half-lives, 1.25 grams na lang ang nabilin because it already disintegrated gikan sa imong 10 grams. So, once kibaw ka sa imong half-life, you will know pila na ra may left sa imong sample after a certain time. So, another muna ni siya ang formula for half-lives. For example, if you have 60 grams of neptunium-240, how many will remain after 4 hours? So, pila man? So, 1 over 2 raised to the power of 4 because 4 hours man ang iyang half-lives, number of half-lives, and then 60 man ang original mass. So, after 4 hours, basically, the only 3.75 grams should remain, would remain the radioactive isotope of plutonium-240. Okay, now radiology basically is the science of high energy radiation, no, and of sources, so including ani is a study of chemical, physical, biological effects of radiation. So basically, it's a term that usually refers to the diagnosis, the treatment of disease using radiation. So magamit sila og ionizing radiation, radionuclides, magnetic resonance, ultrasound para sa diagnosis and treatment of disease as well as medical imaging. So this is an example of what happens during x-rays. So nakay imong hand here, and then imo pagian og x-ray. So kato siya ma-develop to siya sa katong ilang photographic na film. So I think most of you guys kay nakakita na og x-ray. So that is the x-ray, that is the you are basically being bombarded by radiation. Muna dili healthy or dili jud recommended na magpa x-ray ka at twice a year, bawal jud na siya, as well as if buntis ka, dili siya recommended because delikado ang high amounts of radiation. And this is very good kay makalagbas man siya through skin, but dili siya makalagbas through bones, and this will show a very good image kung sa nahitabo sa mo bones. And also depende pud sa amount sa radiation na ilang i-push through. There are certain x-rays mapud ba that common type sa x-rays. So yan na kung sa resolution ilang mahatag nimo will depend on the unsa ka intense ang radiation na ilang palagbas sa imong body. Now, this is a chest x-ray showing scoliosis corrected with a steel rod. So you see here nga arang ka klaro jud ang steel rod, no, very white siya compared sa other parts sa bodies because very maglisod na jud si x-ray ug lagbas sa imong kaning x-ray, but kanimo imong steel rod, but sa imong bones medyo maklaro gyapon, but malagi not as stark, no, as maklaro sa kaning kanimo steel rod. Okay, nuclear bomb or nuclear weapons. Atomic bomb, they use the chemical explosion is used to form a critical mass of uranium or plutonium. So basically, fission will develop into an uncontrolled chain reaction. So ang atomic bomb, mag-start siya with a fission. While sa hydrogen bomb, I think sa Hiroshima, you're familiar with that. It is a chemical explosion that leads to, or that will yield to fission, but the high energy sa katong fission reaction will produce fusion, no, reaction. And this fusion in turn increases the rate of your fission, mo na nga mas powerful pa siya sa imong mga normal ra nga atomic bomb. So dili jud to ethical ang gibuhat, no, nila sa Japan, although dili pud ethical ang gibuhat sa Japan nato, but in a way grabe jud tong hydrogen bomb nga gipabutos sa America sa Japan. Hopefully, dili na na mahitabo during our lifetime. At if you're really interested about this, there's a very good movie by Christopher Nolan, who was the director of Interstellar, and it really talks about the ethics behind kani paghimo og mga bombs that really kills humanity. Unsay title adto nakalimot ko. Basta kadto. Basta search Christopher Nolan hydrogen bomb. Ka-weird, no? So anyways, kana siya. And then what else? Where is nuclear energy used or nuclear chemistry used? So food irradiation, basically gamma radiation is used to kill bacteria. So when you shine light or when you shine gamma radiation, you will lyse the walls of your bacteria, manamatay sila. And also, napoy usa pa na sa reason sa UV nga light, no, para ting clean sa bacteria. I think it's gamma. I think it's the gamma radiation that also helps in that. And then we also have radioactive tracers. So kaning tracers mo nagingon nga mag-spike ka og radioactive element inside your body, and this will explore the chemical pathways and also trace the flow sa water. So it can be used in the body, it can be used in systems, and it can be used in agriculture, kaning tracers nato. And then other consumer products like ionizing smoke detectors, which uses americium-241 isotope. So makadetect sila kung naay smoke nga nasa inyong palibot. And now let's watch a very short video about how a nuclear power plant works. So let's see if makaplay ko ani.
A nuclear power plant is basically a giant kettle, but instead of using fire, it uses splitting atoms to boil water. Here's how a nuclear power plant works. At the heart of it all is the reactor core, packed with fuel rods filled with uranium-235. When a neutron hits a uranium atom, the nucleus splits, releasing loads of thermal energy. This process is called nuclear fission. But here's the crucial part. That split of the nucleus releases more neutrons, which bombard more uranium atoms, creating a chain reaction of nuclear fission. But there is a problem. These newly released neutrons are fast, and fast neutrons are not so great for fission. That's where the moderator comes in. It slows down the neutrons just enough so uranium-235 can absorb them more easily, keeping the reaction going just right. But what if these chain reactions get too intense? This is why we need control rods, often made of boron. These rods absorb neutrons, acting like an off switch for the nuclear reactions. If things get too heated, we lower the control rods into the reactor, reducing or even stopping the chain reaction. Now, all that heat from fission boils water, creating high-pressure steam. The steam spins a giant turbine, which powers a generator, and that's when the nuclear power plant has successfully generated electricity. But what happens to all that leftover heat? A coolant, usually made from water or liquid sodium, circulates through the reactor to carry away excess heat and prevent overheating or even nuclear meltdown. And because radiation is dangerous, the entire reactor is surrounded by thick shielding made from concrete and lead, keeping the radiation safely contained. Nuclear power is crazy efficient, and it doesn't burn fossil fuel, so there's no carbon dioxide emissions. But here's the catch, and that's also why many are fearful of nuclear power, radioactive waste. And not all waste are treated equally. We categorize them into 3 levels. The worst of the worst, spent fuel rods straight from the reactor. They are insanely radioactive and super high. First, they need to sit in cooling pools for years. Then, depending on the country, they're either reprocessed or sealed in massive casks for long-term storage. The long-term plan is to bury them deep underground for thousands of years, far away from anything that matters, like humans. Then there's the stuff that's still risky, too radioactive for the trash, but not extremely dangerous. Things like reactor parts and used filters. We mix it with concrete, seal it in drums, bombs, then store it underground, just not as deep as spent uranium rods. And finally, there's the everyday waste: gloves, tools, protective gear, stuff that's been near radiation, but not too bad. This gets packed, compact, and stored in shallow disposable sites. Some of it even decays fast enough to be treated like regular trash after a few years. So nuclear power is one of the cleanest energy sources we have, but waste management is the key. So what do you think? Is nuclear power a game changer for clean energy, or is the risk too high?
So I think that was a very good short video, no? A very short introduction na po siya on how a nuclear power plants work. So I hope that you will take it with in your own opinions. If do we need to convert not to nuclear power plants if the Philippines can really manage the environmental uh, backlash of a nuclear power plant here in our country, 'di ba? So we have the ways, we have the means, but once again lagi na-raise jud ang environmental management concerns. And when we look at it right now, dili jud ta ka manage pa sa waste dire sa atong country. So if madugagan pag ingani, unsa na lang kayo mahitabo sa atong nasod. So just a cookie to think about, or something to add sa inyong train of thoughts. But actually, I'm still very pro a nuclear power plant because it will really help us shift no from a very expensive nga electric bills to something nga maka-afford na ta. But once again, lagi, daghan pa, we're still too far away from that. I hope nga mabutang time that mas naray mga people sa atong government who are very kamao na, no, dili na corrupt, din na mabulsa sa mga dapat dili ibulsa. But once again, malaki na ron, still napatasi nga presidency, yan napatay way klaro pa nga vice pres, bawal na lang. So hopefully guys, you will be the future. So since daghang mo DOST diri, di pa mo da dyan sa Pilipinas, so hope you give back to your country in that sense. But if dili pod, larga na lang mo biyain na ni Pinas. Charot, di bitaw guys. So I think this is the end for our class here in chapter 3, and this is the end of my recorded discussion. So thank you so much for
A
listening.
nuclear power
yeah, end of chapter 3. Humana jud chapter 3. So, I will just require most of you guys to submit the activities. Napoy wala nag-submit sa electrochem, the pa gyud. And then, add pa dyan yung nuclear. And then, I think, mag-require ko ninyo buhaton nun, makata ko buhaton nun ini ka Wednesday for chemical safety. Then, after na, okay na. Mag-exam na ta ini ka May 20. So, multiple choice, open notes, chapter 3 and chapter 4, which is the module I will send on chemical safety. That's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening, and humana gyud exam for Chem4Ang. Thank you, and bye-bye.